Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Now, sorry this has been a long time between 80 episodes, but I tell you what you're about to see in this episode took me a very long time. Well, it hasn't been done yet, obviously, but it's going to take me a long time. I know that for a fact. So usually when I build my cars, I don't give a f what other people think. I build it my way and my way only, and that's exactly what you should do too with your four-wheel drive. But with the back end of this thing, I was in so many different minds about how to do it, whether to leave it, whether to square up that guard, whether to make a full wide body all the way to the back or just build the side. So many different options. I put the word out there to see what people could come up with, and turns out this guy called Heath, turns out he's an actual Photoshop dude, came up with a pretty cool design to make that full wide body kit to the back. Now obviously that's a 2D image, so that confirmed that's the look that I wanted to do. So now it's about creating that in a 3D space. That was crazy. But without stating the obvious, the rear is going to be a little bit different to the front, because the front, obviously I want to take that whole guard off, take it to a fiberglass guy and get a full replacement fiberglass guard made, so it's got none of that foam, bog and filler, all that stuff, because it weighs a heap at the moment and I want a replacement guard. But with the back, you can't just take that off the car. It is the car. So I'm gonna have to try my best to do as much of this guard I can out of steel. So I'm gonna get some framework. We've got a bunch of card here. We're gonna cut up some templates, make a steel frame, and then only finish the edges and where things start to go rounded with the foam and fiberglass, metal tech, all that kind of stuff. So that's the challenge today. Another learning curve for me. I haven't really done much of this bodywork with steel. So let's just get into it and see what we end up with.
Some get hooked the day they're born. Some fall into it as time moves on. Some are defenseless when Cupid strikes, but I've been heartless ever since I opened my eyes. I'm gonna run from love.
Alrighty, so we've done pretty much most of the cardboard cut out here. I probably did 3 or 4 different attempts tweaking things. I had a bit of a kink in the line, but I've tried to keep it pretty much just as flat as possible. So what I want to do now is pull off these sections, go and get some sheet metal, probably like 1.62 mil, something like that, and go and get these cut out. So I'll probably go down to a mate's shop who's got a guillotine, just get these square cuts done, bring it back and cut all these curves with an angle grinder, and then pretty much just marking it out and maybe do a few tacks and bits and pieces, and then we'll start getting the general shape of how it's gonna look.
I'm gonna run from love. Ain't nobody gonna get me to slow it down. I'm gonna run from love.
Okay, pieces to the puzzle. We have translated the card into actual steel. So I went down to the mate's shop, got them bits cut down. Now what I've already done on the actual body is just put a little texture in, and then I'm able to seesaw the height so I can get it level. What I want to do is follow the line of this body line here. So got that piece on there. Now I'm going to grind back the metal where the actual steel is going to be tacked on. Probably start with the bottom, get the base sort of sorted, and then this is the top plate, which will be the last piece to go on. And then I can pull that height back, run some tacks across the top. And I'm actually going to be using this 6 mil filler rod bar stuff, whatever you call it, just round bar. So that'll help create a bit of a corner so it's not a sharp edge, which we can't grind back, and if we do, we'll grind the welds off. So by using this bar, it creates that bit of a curved corner, so it'll match what the front's doing. That's the plan anyway. Alright, just a quick little update I guess. We've basically got all the components on. I've dropped a whole lot of tack welds. I'm starting to just run a few more along, obviously let it cool, do a quick run, let it cool, and just keep filling in the gaps. So I'm not going to completely weld it. I'm still going to use that metal tech filler to get the radius of the curves right. I did have to cut out a section for the filler obviously, so there's going to be a bit of kind of crafting in there to get that shape to look right inside, but at least we've got the hole there to get access to it. Come along pretty good actually. Like I did have to kind of bend around these sections a bit, so you're gonna get a bit of curve, which is nice. It's not gonna be dead straight. There is a bit of a bend towards the back, and this kind of curves down as well. So pretty happy with that. Hopefully it looks good. I might have to do a quick skim of bog just to get some little dents or warps out of it, but other than that, it looks pretty good from the eye at the moment. Where are you going?
I'm getting the full barrel.
Mac's the first person to see this ever. Only started working on it today, but a few things I want to change.
Way better, because now it matches sort of the square guard at the back, because that was too round before.
Actually, this is the first time I've stood back and looked at it too. So I've tried to keep that like where the windowsill is line and follow that through. I actually probably spent the most time I ever have in my whole life actually measuring and cutting things. You proud of me?
I am proud. You've actually...
I made it happen properly.
You've done it nice. It's good.
There was literally 3 or 4 moments there. I'm like, this is the point I would actually probably just keep going with it. But nah, took it off, cut it again, reshaped it. Actually spent time doing it, so should be good. I don't know what to do with the back here. There's 2 options. One, I'll weld a plate in there, get rid of the tail light, bring that out and bring it around, and then put like 2 circular tail lights in because you've got all that width, or leave it cut short and do like the scoop in there, you know, like you see on like cows and that. I don't know what to do. The next thing to do now, I'm just gonna run a bit of etch primer on there, basically to seal the steel, and then I'm gonna get some foam here and start working on shaping this front guard. It's gonna be the same as we've done everything else, with a bit of fiberglass matting, foaming, shaping, and then the whole thing should be primed and looking good.
3 days later.
Alrighty, so I've slaved away the last couple of days to get it all straight and get some primer on there. So I've got to put some base coat on there next. I'm going to put some white base coat, but it's come up pretty good. It's looking all right. I'm going to block it back. A few little sections that I want to smooth out still and get the shape right, but the bulk of it's done. That little cutout for the fuel flap came out pretty mint. It was a bit of work, but we got there in the end. I don't know how to finish off this back end. So if you have a look, originally I was gonna actually wrap it the whole way around, make a fresh plate and a couple of different lights kind of there and a wide body, but might look a bit weird. So I'm thinking now I can either plate it off, put a section there that plates it off to basically meet where the start of the tail light ends and round it off, or do I plate it and put a bit of a vent in there, some little flutes or something, or a large hole? I don't know, I'm not sure what to put in there. So comment down below whether you reckon I should put a big vent in there and some flutes, or do I just cap it off, or do I bring it out and round it right around the tail light? I'm not sure, comment below. All right guys, what's going up? This morning I got up to tinker around on the patrol because it's kind of raining again. And remembered I haven't drawn the winner of the Harrop e-locker. Now we're giving away an e-locker and a merch pack breather kit in the last Build Not Bought 80 episode. So we've put it in the random generator. We've had about 3,000 or 4,000 entries, and the winner is Grant Murray. Now Grant loves the front end, the flares, and he likes the back door, which is weird for some reason. Maybe he's talking about the rear doors. I don't know whether it's the back door or the side ones. I assume it's the side ones, but he's stoked to get an e-locker. He's got a patrol, and he does want to have a crack at putting it in himself, which I'm super stoked about. So Grant, send me a message on Instagram and we'll get that kit package sent out to you. All right guys, I just want to remind you, if you didn't win this competition and you were in the market for a Harrop e-locker, you can use code BNB, which will save you $100 at checkout. So there you go, save a bit of money if you get a locker in your four-wheel drive. Anyway guys, let's get back to the episode. All right, looking a bit worse for wear, and that is because I'm sick and tired of sanding on this car. So we're gonna do something a bit different. We got Jacob and Benny here today from Airbag Man. So a while ago you saw me put the airbag kit in. Finally time to set that up. There's a few different things you gotta do with height sensors. I've plumbed up kind of the basic core of the system. So now the boys here, they're the professionals. We can really tweak it and get things dialed in. So I'll get it up on the hoist, get the boys to have a look at it and see how we go. All right, so here we've got Jacob and Benny. Tell us what to do.
Mate, you've done a cracker job installing those bags, eh?
Yeah, we've got the main bit done, obviously, so I've got all the bags in.
Nicely.
Yeah, I've just put little tails on the airline so I can pump it up manually. Now the next mission is to get it all to work.
Yeah,
so,
Whereabouts are your height sensors at?
you've got it. Oh yes, feed me. This is the best part of my morning, is the muck truck.
What do they do? Just like sausages and...
Yeah, it's terrible food, but that's what you want first thing in the morning. Maybe you already had breakfast?
Yeah, I already had a feed.
What are you talking about?
So annoying.
I never get filmed getting food.
I reckon we start with height sensors.
Yeah.
Just getting like a general position for them.
and then we can cycle it through, compress it.
That's the main reason I got these in. I wasn't sure where they go.
Yeah.
I know it's a custom thing, you kind of pick a spot, but...
Yeah, I brought some universal brackets too that we've just developed.
Yep.
So that should make it so much easier.
So we left Benny to do stuff. We're gonna have a look at
The technician.
the tech side of things, yeah. So,
Right, so
I wasn't really sure about this, but
yeah, you've got a couple of ways to operate your system. So you've got the simple rocker switch setup, so you can cycle through your 3 preset heights.
yep.
You've got your raised mode, drive mode, and
Slam mode.
slam Cali lean mode. So they're your 3 preset heights, and we'll set those later. We'll calibrate them either
Yep.
with the controller, or Benny's got the laptop to calibrate everything and get the right heights, and we'll do some measurements. This setup here is your manual mode. Now you can whack it into service mode if you don't want anything to adjust, or
Yep.
if you're getting it serviced at some workshop or doing it yourself, just hit service mode so you don't have the ability for that to just randomly go and adjust.
Yep.
You can do left and right, front to back, adjust on different campsites, or with your setup, you're going to have horizon leveling, which is this tricky little button here. So when you eventually get your bed in the back, you'll be able to pull up to a campsite and then hit that button, and it will level out, and you'll
Dead
have
flat.
flat sort of surface
Amazing.
to sleep on, which will be insane.
First corner's kind of done. So up here, there's a lot going on with clamps and bits and pieces. We've just used a hose clamp around the radius arm here, and we're just going to do a bit of a sweep. So we're going to try and jack the diff up and get it to full compression, and just make sure that it's kind of within range, because these things kind of have a position where it can be too far out of range. And then once we're all happy, I've got to actually weld a proper bracket to the arm there and fix this bracket to the top and the chassis too, so it's like a real clean look. But that's the plan now. We'll see how it sweeps up, and if it's all good, that's one corner down. We'll just basically replicate it for the other sides. Loves the close-ups. Do you know how to use it? You remember how to use a camera? Hey, how's the exposure, guys? Comment below if you think Will's good on the camera. He's been gone for 6 months. Come back, thinks he knows everything. Alrighty, so obviously last time we've already settled this up. This is that distribution block we're talking about. It's already labelled, so you got rear right, rear left, front, blah, blah, blah. Right up to, I think it goes from the tank to the distribution block, and then the compressor goes to the tank. So I've pretty much got all the separate corners. We're going to whack it in here, but do it through a T-piece, so we can add a manual valve as well to pump them manually, get it sorted. And then we could probably remove these or just leave them so they can be a backup to the system as well. And yeah, oh, we need those little green tails. And basically do that. You don't see instructions often around here. A few more steps closer, we've got all the airbags plumbed into the distribution block. Got the air tank plumbed up, so that's all done. All the hardware is basically done. We've plugged in all the level sensors as well. I think it's pretty much time to throw the fuses in and see if the compressor makes a bit of noise, and then we can start pushing air in different places it needs to go. So we've got it working. We're operating it through the computer where you can tap up and down, get the front and back. Just sweeping it through. There's a few changes we've got to make with sensors. They're going out of range basically. We've just got to tweak that. We'll probably do that another day. It's working-ish for the moment, so a bit of a dry run.
The compressed height too.
Yeah.
So you can see you want it above 0.5 volts.
Yeah.
So we're at like 0.38, 4.
Alrighty, so we've pretty much done what we can do today. Just a few more little bits and pieces I got to finish off, and then the boys can come back and do a calibration, or we might just sort it out over FaceTime. But it's all in, a lot of the hardware's done, a lot of the wiring's finished. So that's pretty much most of the bag system done. I'm just gonna hammer on and keep going with this bodywork. I'll try and show you some shots when it's a bit more finished, hopefully in this episode. If not, we'll see you guys in the next one. But otherwise, check it out. Alrighty guys, we're back onto this wide body kit. Had a couple of days off, obviously with the Airbag Man boys here. Big shout out to them for sorting out those bags there. So back onto the bodywork. Now, believe it or not, I've actually spent probably a week doing this. The last time you saw it, it's actually quite a different shape. I've had probably 2 or 3 different cracks, completely finished it, got some paint on it, stood back on a few different angles, and I wasn't really happy with the rear. This was sticking out a lot more. This panel down here was a lot more flat. So I ended up cutting it all off and basically reshaping the rear, scooping this down more, bringing the rear around. I know I was chatting to you guys about coming up with some ideas of how to finish off this back end here, but I've gone ahead and done this. I think it's gonna be the best way and it kind of looks the best on most angles. I don't really want to do flutes and stuff because you just end up getting in there and who knows when it goes through mud, water, whatever. And that way I can retain those rear tail lights as well. So we're at the stage of where basically the steel work is done. So it's just trying to get the shape right with the fine filler there. I've actually got some help. I've enlisted some help. I put a word out, I think on Instagram, and found Harley, who's actually a lot more of a professional than me. He's just started his own business. What is it? Dents and
Smash and Dash.
Smash and Dash. So he's actually got some history with working with out of a smash repair shop. So yeah, and you're actually mobile too, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is a bonus for me because a lot of the time, you probably relate if you're working on a car, it's probably not going to be mobile when it's at this stage where it's doing panel and paint. So Harley's able to come out and actually finish off that last little bit. Ended up tweaking the front a bit. I wasn't happy with the shape, so we sorted that out. And then we're doing the rear now. So hopefully with 2 of us, we can smash it out a lot quicker. I mean, that's the idea. I want to try and get this thing done so you guys can see episodes a lot more quick. But yeah, we'll just see what Harley gets up to. And he'll probably do it like 10 times faster than I could, and the shape will be primo. That front looks so much better already.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There we go.
Bad before.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's all get into it. Yeah, I'm sore yet.
Not yet.
Oh man. One thing's for sure, I'll be cleaning up dust in here for weeks. I've already like cleaned the shed 3 times. That stuff looks way finer than the stuff I was using, eh?
That's why you needed that fine fill.
Yeah.
And that's why this sands down real easy too.
Yeah. I hope you guys appreciate that. This episode you're watching right now is literally like been probably 3 weeks of my life. And there's no getting around this stuff. Like bodywork on a car, you just have to do it. You got to do it by hand. There's no real machinery. As soon as you get real aggressive with like sanders and that, you just don't get it as smooth. So it's one of those things that takes time, whether it's like, you know, a nice new muscle car or whatever, or even an old 4B. I mean, it just looks crap if the thing is super wavy. So you got to put in the hours, and I knew this was coming, but that last 10%, I'm just like, oh, I'm so over it. So I'm glad I got some help. And we should get it sorted hopefully in the next couple of weeks, because you guys are probably sick of seeing bloody bog happen for the last 2 episodes. So it's time to move on, and hopefully next episode we'll be sort of seeing all the different bits and pieces come together. We've got rear bar coming, front bar, there's a bunch of wiring. Hopefully I'm gonna get all the boys in, and we'll spend a couple of nights just smashing out all the little bits and pieces, and you'll see this thing come together. And then hopefully it should be done in a couple of weeks. All right, so we're looking pretty good on one side. Overall, the shape's looking heaps better. There are a couple of little bit of warping in there from the welding and whatnot, but it's a load better than what it was, and that's what I was after. So I'm probably gonna wrap up the episode here, guys. I mean, there's been a lot of different bits and pieces in this episode. Hopefully next time, I'm not really gonna show much of the other side because it's basically the same process, just done again. But hopefully next time, all the 4 corners will be done. The thing should be in white, getting real close to being the final stage for paint or wrap. I'm not gonna tell you which way yet. And then I think next episode, we're gonna do the bonnet. So the bonnet, something special happening with that. There were a couple of different ways and directions I could go with that. And I think I made a decision depending on getting parts from Toyota. If that happens, the next episode we're doing the bonnet. And then the car should be pretty much done after that. Fingers crossed anyway. So no more major projects to do. I mean, this was the biggest thing, getting this wide body done. After getting the motor in and running, this was the next major project. So the light is at the end of the tunnel, the last 10% of the build, and then the thing should be ready for a rip down the street, hopefully. We'll see you guys next episode. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you there. Cheers. Guys, if you like this video, make sure to click up here to subscribe to the channel. Click over here for our latest merchandise on our website. And down below or to the side, I'm not sure where it is our last episode. If you haven't watched it, click on that to check it out. See you guys.